and welcome to Ravished. I'm Nick.
And I'm Donna. This week we are reviewing, drumroll please. Oh my gosh, that was pathetic. Cry Baby.
Yeah, Cry Baby. One of our all-time favorite nostalgic movies growing up. And John Waters wrote and directed Cry Baby. So if y'all don't know who Waters is, he has a unique narration of life and culture, and his genre is described as camp. C-A-M-P, which we will explain that in a minute.
Yes. Also, a lot of people know John Waters for his pencil-thin mustache, if that rings a bell. He also wrote Hairspray, which is seriously the remake in the early 2000s, is one of my favorite movies from high school. But he wrote and directed this now cult classic that we love to laugh and cringe at in 1990, over 30 years ago. I cannot believe how much time has passed.
I can't believe it either. 30 years? No way.
I know.
That means I'm 31.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I can't remember what. He was the mustache. He was, what's the word? Doing it in recognition or whatever the word is for someone. And I can't remember who it was, but it's somebody he did it for.
Oh, dang. I don't know.
Unless I'm making that all up.
It just reminds me of like
okay,
a military
anyway,
mustache.
I think it's somebody, like he did it on purpose because some other older person, famous person had it.
I have no clue.
I can't remember. The thin mustache. Dang it. Anyway. So, but for real, should we mention the real kicker in time here, Donna?
I'm ready.
Okay, so for those of you living under a rock or not raised in the 90s, the leading character is 26-year-old Johnny Depp.
Swoon.
Yeah.
Seeing him after so many years of not watching Cry Baby brought back the most memories. I couldn't believe how big I was smiling the whole time because he was the epitome of a heartthrob growing up, you know, and recently the only movies I can really recall seeing him in were like Pirates of the Caribbean or the Harry Potter spinoff series, and I honestly completely forgot he was such a babe and who he used to be.
Yeah, he's always played amazing roles, like different quirky kind of roles and stuff. My other favorite movie that he's in is What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, yeah.
And so he is so beautiful. It's like, is he even real? You know, back then we were just dumbfounded at his beauty, you know.
He had the 90s on lock.
He sure did. He was the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
I can just say I was born in Johnny Depp. I don't know.
That's weird.
No, that's weird.
Okay.
Oh, boy. But yeah, they don't make movies like they used to. I mean, I'll tell you what. Thank you, God, for creating Johnny Depp and putting him into movies for us to watch.
I mean, I went and watched Maverick today. It was so good, and me and the hubby were both like, they just do not make movies like this anymore, where it was just like amazing and made you like love America again.
I heard it was really patriotic, and I have not heard one bad review about it from, you know, people I know personally at work or friends, family, you know.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Everybody's like, you got to really watch it. You just have to watch it. And,
good.
you know, they don't make movies like they used to, but I guess they're starting to, you know. There's other movies that are out, but
I think they're trying to take us back to what it used to be because they've remade some movies and they just are not good. So they do spin-offs or sequels, and that's what's getting everybody into it. I feel like it's just, they can't compete. I don't know what's going on with, you know, the world to where we're going backwards, I guess, in the terms of like our taste. But I loved Maverick. It was a really feel-good movie, and like high five. You want to high five everybody during the like jets fighting scene and everything. But anyways,
yeah, but we're not reviewing Maverick.
I know, it was so good. Go see it. Anyways,
but so back to Crybaby.
Yes.
You were feeling the giddiness and the gigglies.
I mean,
watching it.
My face hurt the whole time. My face hurt the entire time watching this movie from smiling the whole time because it just was so funny and the music was so catchy and I knew every word and it just brought back a lot of good memories. I loved every second.
Oh, yeah. Especially, he's really good at singing and dancing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's just a natural. And he did some, like, Elvis moves, I feel like,
totally.
Too. And it's just like, ow! You know,
right?
Like, ooh, it just gets you. Like, dang, it hits your love spine or whatever.
I was surprised it was... I'm pretty sure it was him singing, and it was really, really good.
Yes. He's good at everything.
We love you, Johnny Depp.
All right, before... we love you. All right, so before we start our review of this wackadoodle movie, let's go ahead and catch up on the last few weeks.
Okay, how have you been?
Well, I don't have any more camping scares or flooding dilemmas because we didn't go camping, but it probably would have happened if we did. Yeah. No, I just been doing, it's been hot out, like, and we actually had some nice days, and there was a lot of wind, which I'm obsessed with wind.
Yeah.
I love wind. And I've been working on my backyard, the outside of my house. I've been painting and planting and putting up landscaping dividers and, you know, spray painting the shutters and the numbers on our house.
So,
and like, it's just outdoor house, homestead, like.
Yeah. I mean, let me give you guys
creation.
A picture. Our entire family on our mom's side is obsessed with buying old houses and remodeling them. I'm not one of them, but Nick definitely is. She bought the oldest house in the family, I think.
I think so. I could be wrong.
How old is it? Or what year was it built?
140 something year. It's 140 something years old. It was built in 1876.
That's almost 150 years old. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So she has...
It's so cool, though. You can't buy anything like
this.
You know,
she's done
yeah, it's
so
a lot
much.
of work, and it never ends.
Right. I mean, you couldn't even live in it because of how much you had to remodel when you first bought it. Like, that's crazy.
We had to put a lot into it before we can even move in by the city's standards. Yeah. But we're also in one block away from historical district. Thank goodness we're not in it, which, you know, it's pretty much a miracle. I mean, how can we not be in it when we have a historical house? But if we were, yeah,
the property
it would have been, instead of 10 pages of stuff we had to get done, it would have been probably 30.
To get it back to what it was.
Almost, but definitely restore.
Yeah. I mean, you've done a lot, though.
Make it nice. And, you know, it had to be updated. You know, a lot of stuff had to be updated.
I can imagine.
But anyway, so Donna, what have you been up to these past few weeks?
Well, I actually got out this weekend. We went to Angel Fire, New Mexico. My hubby is super into mountain biking, and that's why we had to delay re-recording this episode after our technical issues with the last recording. Because I was out of town in the mountains, literally no cell phone service, no internet. It was insane. I was like, we're in 1985.
You know, that's being a loving and supportive wife. So I love that. And I love that he's into mountain biking. I think that is super cool. You know, like some people think it's cool to, I don't know, play the saxophone or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I love mountain biking, so that, and, you know, he's
a thrill
brave,
seeker.
so he does all the jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adrenaline.
He's like,
mountain
this
biking,
jump
which
went
is way
straight
more...
down. I was like, don't tell me, please.
Well, it's way less dangerous than, like, if he was in a dirt bike. So, you know what I mean?
But
Thank
he's
God.
still going like 45 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah. It's scary, but...
Yeah. But it was so beautiful. There was no humidity. It was like in the 70s and perfect. So it was a nice escape. But yeah, that was my roundup of excitement.
Sounds like a nice little vacation. I wish I would have went.
I know. I recommend it. It's nice.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, now let's get on with the review. So, Cry Baby is a wicked parody of the 50s, both sleazy and lovely. Written and directed by John Waters, also known as the Pope of Trash. And some interesting findings on Mr. Waters is he taught at an institutional prison called Patuxent to teach the offenders how to write about their murderous fantasies instead of acting out on them. And he's known to be obsessed with gore, bizarro fetishes, and family dysfunction, including being put into the category of camp, as I spoke about earlier, which is a type of film genre that means absurdly exaggerated in an unusually humorous way. So this movie fills that ticket to a T, and it's ridiculous. And anyway, John Waters is also a self-proclaimed elder filth, which is weird.
Yeah.
And his unique narrations, you know, on life and culture make him quintessence for...
You know that word.
That word, quintessence.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, anyway, I want to come up with a different word. It make him someone to look up to for generations of, you know, rebels and everything. So he's a weirdo, but we like weirdos.
Yes, he could fit right in our clan.
Yay!
But that's really weird. The point I got out of that was like his rehabilitation for murderers. I mean, I wonder if his process of just write about murdering instead of doing it really worked. Like, interesting.
No, I doubt it. I think it was kind of a sick and twisted like way of, he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And, you know, for them to like go there in their brain and actually come up with stuff, they need to get away from that.
Yeah, that's
so it was just kind of, to me, it was like disturbing. Yeah. That he did that.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So that's a little bit about John Waters. Who would you recommend this movie to, Nick? Or who do you think would really enjoy it?
Goodness. Well, definitely anyone older than 13. It's rated PG-13, which it should be rated R, but so like adults and women, men. I mean, it's hilarious. It's like it has so much feeling with all this great music and ridiculous characters, awkward encounters, and then it has steamy, sexy Johnny Depp, you know, who we love to love and never find another like him, you know.
Yes, I was shocked that it was rated PG-13 also, because my husband was like, you can't watch that with the kids. And I'm like, it's PG-13. But it definitely is based off 1980s parenting standards, because there were some extremely intense kissing scenes and groping, and even I was like feeling embarrassed watching like with the kids.
Yeah, and wasn't that like around the time like the sexual revolution, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, wasn't that the 70s or 60s?
I was wondering if it was the 70s or 80s.
No,
but
I think it was like 60s, 70s.
It just seems kind of like a little underground too, in a way, but
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know what else to say about that.
I have no clue. I was a baby. All right. So let me set the scene. It takes place in around 1954 Baltimore. The reason I got the year is because in the opening scene it has class of 54. So that means it's either 1953 or 1954 in Baltimore.
Right.
And John Waters literally writes all of his movies based out of Baltimore because that's where he's from.
Oh, yeah. I can't forget the Hairspray song. Baltimore.
No. Good morning, Baltimore. So
that's it.
I know. When I went to Baltimore for my first time, I was going to the airport to pick up my little brother, Nate. And
you went to John Waters' house?
No. I made him listen to that song with me as we drove to downtown Baltimore to go eat.
Your brother, Nate?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He was into it.
You guys are so funny. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how cool we are.
You guys are so funny.
You know. Okay, 1950s. We have two gangs here that the movie revolves around. We have the Drapes, which are the bad boys and girls, or the rebel gang. And then we have the Squares, which are Leave It to Beaver type stuck-up brats. And they're actually the bad guys. But they, have money, influence. But they're just not good people. So the Drapes consist of Crybaby. He's the king of the Drapes. He's a lonely orphan whose parents were killed by the electric chair. And, man.
You say that like it's a nice thing.
I mean, never have I heard such a hot explanation of why someone's parents were killed by the electric chair. Sorry, you got to see the movie if you haven't.
Oh, my God. This movie, yeah. Ridiculous.
So my impression of him, super delicious, but he never really showed any interest in any girl, it seems, from what the characters make it seem like, until he sees Allison in the opening scene. And they just are drawn to each other. But, so that's Crybaby. He can sing and he can dance. Woohoo! Next, we have Pepper. She's Crybaby's very pregnant sister, and she's also in high school and has two other kids who are like 7. So that's kind of weird.
And it's played by Ricky Lake.
Who I'm assuming John Waters loves because she was also in the original Hairspray.
Yes.
But she takes no nonsense from anyone. Like in one of the opening scenes, a nurse rubs her belly and she like bucks at her. And she's just super tough because of the life, how she's been raised. Next, we have Wanda, who she's played by Tracy Lords. Yes. And she's just so beautiful. She oozes sex appeal and uses it to her advantage. Like, she knows how to pout her lips and stick out her chest and get some attention. And then...
Oh, yeah, she's beautiful.
She's really, really... And she embodied the character. Like, perfect casting.
She was probably top 3 one of my favorite characters in this movie. And I have a lot of favorite characters.
There's such... great casting, like everybody committed to these roles.
Yes.
Next, there's Hatchet Face, who she's strange looking because of the way they did her makeup. And as a kid, I always thought she was funny because she like goes oogie boogie 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 with her mouth, and she just looks crazy. So it's funny. But so
yeah, she looks like a witch.
Yeah, she looks demonic-ish because has these crazy blue eyes and this bleach blonde hair and brown teeth.
They're like greenish brown. She has red lipstick all over, her lips.
Yeah.
Onto her skin.
Mm-hmm. And she's really threatening and strong, but in one of the scenes, she gets told, it's so unfortunate what happened to your face. And she proudly exclaims, she has character. Nothing's wrong with her face. And so using her as an example of, not using, oh my gosh, what is it called? The beauty standards, like you don't have to be a supermodel. You can be a good person and that will make you beautiful. And lastly...
Yeah, and she had a lot of support from her Drape gang members.
Oh, totally. They always were telling her she was beautiful and stuff. And our last member of the Drapes is Melton. He's actually dating Hatchet Face, and they make out all the time. He really didn't talk in this movie except for one time when his crazy, like, super religious parents showed up at their hangout spot, Turkey Point, and had crosses and were trying to save people from the devil. And he's like, geez, Mom and Dad, go home. Let me be a teenager.
I'm a teenager. I want to live.
Yeah.
And then the music starts and they start. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Can't give it away.
That's literally the only line that I know that he has.
He's cute, though.
Yeah. All right. So, not actually part of the Drapes, but very influential to them is Ramona Ricketts and Uncle Belvedere, who are... Ramona is Crybaby and Pepper's grandmother, and she owns Turkey Point, which is their huge hangout spot for all the kids who are, like, rebellious teenagers. And then her, partner is Uncle Belvedere. And they're just some hillbilly, I think you told me rockabilly people. Like, they're crazy. And she has, like, a bird on her hat or some crap. It's real rednecky, whatever. But they, like, steal hubcaps and cars and all that to make money.
Yeah, they're kind of scandalous, but I guess they kind of have to be.
Yeah, they're just trying to survive pretty much because they're not part of society. They're on the outskirts.
Yeah, they're the outcasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you brought them up because they're just wonderful characters in this movie that make the movie even better. And so, all right, well, I'm going to describe the squares, and they include the main female character, Mrs. Allison Vernon Williams. She's very conflicted, she wants to be a square. Oh, she's very conflicted if she wants to be a square or she wants to be a drape because she doesn't enjoy having to live like a perfect angel every day, And but she's also an orphan, and her parents died in a plane crash. And then there's the bad guy. His name is Baldwin, and he is Allison's boyfriend. And he's pretty much just a turd, He tries to manipulate Allison to stay with him, and he causes a bunch of crap.
Yeah, cannot stand Baldwin.
Bunch of mayhem. Yeah, and then his little gang is called the Whiffles, and they're like his cronies. There's backup singers as well at the charm school, and it's cringy and cheesy, but you love it. You just love it. It just works together so well. I'm talking about their little band they have,
Yeah.
And but they're pretty much just like annoying nerdy guys who don't have brains.
Yeah.
And then
they don't even talk.
Yeah. They just look dorky. And then we have some smaller characters for y'all to meet. The Drapes' parents, they just don't seem like the type to be their parents, like to raise hoodlums or rebels. So it's really an interesting contrast,
Yeah.
And it makes it even more silly. And, and Wanda, her parents are so out of touch. It's hilarious. They don't even notice that she's, dressing real sexy and tight clothes. And
they don't even know what the F word is.
They don't know what the F word... Yeah, her mom said in court, she goes, Hector, what's the F word? And her dad goes, oh, just a nonsense word teenagers use nowadays, honey. Or something like that. Did I get that right?
Something. I don't know. It sounds right. And then she asked the judge.
But they're hilarious.
She goes, excuse me, Judge, can we take Wanda the F home?
Oh, yeah, but she says the word.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
So funny.
That was one of the funniest points in the whole movie. But,
yeah, I
and
think
then
it's just teenagers rebelling, like against what their parents are. They don't want to be like their parents. Like today, all the younger generation are saying like, we don't want to work 30 years at a job for this. And it's like, I'd rather be happy. And our mindset and our parents are like, no, you work and then you retire and then you enjoy your life. Just typical teenage rebellion.
Yep. So also there's the bad female character. Her name's Lenora, and we don't like her.
Nope.
And she's just a bunch of drama. She's kind of cheap, like acting. She acts easy. She's obsessed with
Crybaby,
the main character, and she tries to tear apart, a love match, and it's just so annoying and eye roll worthy,
Mm-hmm. She's disgusting. I cannot stand her.
We hate her. We hate
Yuck.
her.
She can't sit with us.
Can't sit here. So, next, let's go ahead and describe the setting. The beginning scene, he walks in. He's so dreamy. Oh, my gosh.
So, it opens up with they're at high school and all the students are in line to get vaccines. And he walks up at the same time that Allison does, and they just cannot keep their eyes off each other. And all of a sudden, while they're getting their shot, a lone tear falls down his face, and they're just like hypnotized by each other pretty much. And, you feel
and the
it.
music plays to every little emotion.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
amazing how the music, it just...
You can feel the sparks.
I don't even know how to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so the bell rings or everybody gets their shots and they're walking out and the Drapes walk over to Johnny Depp's car, or Crybaby's car, my bad. And Allison walks out of school and she's just looking at him and she just goes, I'm so tired of being good. And as she's like saying that, Crybaby is using his teeth to flick a match to light it. And she, just can't help herself. I feel her. She walks right up to him, and he says, my, you're a pretty little square. And you're just like, ah.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad they met.
I know.
But, yeah, I mean, opposites attract. It's definitely a theme here. And her grandma, she owns a charm school for the privileged elite class. And Crybaby's family owns Turkey Point, a redneck party, make-out spot.
Didn't you call it a Riviera?
Yeah, Turkey Point. It's a redneck Riviera, they call it. So, they own that stuff, man. They own it.
Yeah, and so that kind of her going out of her way to walk up to him, let him know, hey, I am interested. Because it's so, not normal for her to have done that based off.
Yeah. There was a lot of, drama going on right there. Oh, my God, did she actually do that? This is unheard of.
Yeah, everybody was kind of like, what is she doing? And her boyfriend and her grandma roll up, and they're like, get in the car, Allison, hurry. So once that happened, Crybaby goes to Turkey Point, Allison goes to the charm school after school, and he sings to her. They're passing each other, and he turns up the radio and starts singing to her driving next to them, and it was so cute. Could a boy do that for me?
Yeah, that was the cutest thing he did, I think.
Totally.
The most romantic thing he did in the whole movie was...
So cute.
And, he said, Tracy Lord's Wanda goes, Crybaby wants some hooch. The drink. And Crybaby goes, I don't drink and drive. And he sped off real fast. And, the music played again. This is a cool song. And,
Yeah, it was so cute. So when he gets to Turkey Point, he's, gifted a motorcycle by his grandmother, and he takes it and he goes, I met a girl, and he drives to the charm school, and everyone at the charm school is just like afraid. Oh my goodness, what is this man doing here? And Allison is so like excited, and she walks up to him, and he's like, excuse me, Mrs. Vernon Williams, to her grandmother, and he's like, I'd really like for Allison to come watch me play tonight. And she looks at her grandmother and she's like, please, grandmother, all I ask for is one night of happiness. And it's so sad that you just know she's so miserable with her life right there.
I know, it's very sad. It's like, that's kind of pathetic.
I know.
But
poor thing.
But does her grandmother let her go? I don't know.
She does.
Oh, she does. She does. And then, so they go to Turkey Point, and Allison gets a bad beauty makeover from the Drape girls.
Mm-hmm.
And they welcome her with open arms, but they're so tough. And, my bazooms are my weapons, And, I mean, it's ridiculous. But, the music is just so fun.
King Cry Baby.
We danced
to
it.
I was singing the whole time.
I danced to it, took videos of myself dancing to the music.
It was so much fun.
So much fun.
And then, unfortunately, the dumb squares show up, and, they start wreaking all kinds of havoc and destroying all this property, and who gets in trouble for it?
That's when the real conflicts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Drapes get blamed for everything, and they all get arrested.
That's the main first, like, conflict in the movie, where it's like, oh, man, I wish that didn't happen. It was going so good.
Right.
But, so, yeah, that ends up getting Crybaby locked up for pretty much the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And, that Lenora chick, she was starting drama again, and we don't want to give away the ending, but there's plenty of great musical numbers, and there's even a shot of Johnny Depp in his underwear that make it worth the watch.
Oh yes.
I don't really want to say that, though. I don't feel right saying that.
Get over it.
Ugh.
I mean, the still frame at the end of the movie is one of my favorite shots of the entire movie. Johnny Depp's face.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Yum.
It's not my favorite part. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I didn't want it to end.
Oh. Whack. No, I'm just kidding.
So good. It could have been 25 hours long.
Right. I want to live there. No, I don't. I'm joking.
No, you don't. Why did you say that?
So what was your favorite part?
Of the movie?
Yeah.
God. Well, I loved whenever he was in jail and William Dafoe was the jail guard.
God bless Richard Nixon.
Oh, he is so funny. And then they sang this song. He played the guitar. They had the classic, grayish black and white striped uniforms on. And it just, his voice in that song even, it's like, I can listen to the soundtrack because all the songs are so good.
They really are.
But specifically, I really liked, my favorite was in the courtroom, whenever they were at court, and Hatchet Face's parents stroll in, and her mom's in an iron lung, an old-fashioned iron lung, and her dad's carting her, like it has wheels on it, carting her around, and they're kind of in the corner up front, and she's smoking a cigarette in an iron lung, and the judge goes, Mrs. Malmarowski, there's no smoking in this courthouse. And she goes, why not? I pay taxes on cigarettes, don't I? And then she drops her cigarette, and it pops the tire of the iron lung, which she's laying flat in, it's like a tunnel thing. and she goes, "Oh, Christ, another flat tire." You know, and it was, and then her husband, Mr. Malmorowski, started cranking up the iron lung to change the tire in the courtroom. That was my favorite. That's probably one of my favorite parts. I mean, you know, do you want me to? I could go on. What's your favorite part?
I just told you the what do you call it? My the last picture still frame of his face.
Oh, okay.
But I like when they sing "King Cry Baby." It's such a good song.
Oh, really?
It was good.
Teardrops are falling.
Nope. That's not the song.
Oh. I know. That was one of my favorite ones, though.
I know. You got to do it like in a squeaky voice like he did.
How about this one? Please, Mr. Jailer, won't you let my man go free?
During that whole part, I was dying. Just watch the grandma. Like, she's hilarious in it. Oh, my God. Okay, sorry. So, Nick.
It's hilarious.
It really is so good. What would you rate this movie?
Oh, I don't know. A 5 out of 5 for sure.
Oh, okay.
5 stars. What about you?
I mean, it made me smile so much. And I'm smiling right now, this whole podcast. Like, it's such a funny movie, and I couldn't get enough. And I had my 14-year-old watch it, and at first she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cringy. Why are we watching it?" And literally as soon as it ended, she turned and looked at me and was like, "This is such a good movie." So there you have it. A 14-year-old likes it. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine anybody not liking it unless they don't like, you know, slapstick kind of comedy.
I don't know. But, who wouldn't like it?
I mean, were there any parts you felt like weren't that great in it?
So, I definitely, as a kid watching it, never noticed all the makeout scenes, which were so over the top. It's not even like they were kissing. They were just licking each other's tongues. So, for me, it was just, like, weird, and because I was watching it with my kids. And then
but you know, it's comedy, so it's like,
I mean, I know that, but they're like, "Do we still have to keep our eyes covered?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's still going on."
Oh God.
Yeah. And then there was just something I never ever noticed, but it, in like every single background scene, it seemed like there were Confederate flags everywhere, and I just don't understand the symbolism of why. Like, even when the drapes are being carted off to jail, the black drapes all have like bandanas of the Confederate flag on their head, and I'm just like, I don't understand. This is Maryland. Like, it was just weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think the flag in this movie, I think it represented rebelliousness, and that's it. You know, it just represented that.
Yeah, and I looked up trying to see if there was any reason he put it in there, and he never spoke about why, so I don't know.
Right.
What about you? What did you not enjoy?
Well, I don't want to give anything away because the sad parts, they're not a lot of them. So I just want to say, whenever it was the time to see the sad parts of the movie, I close my eyes and look away.
Oh my gosh.
I can't give anything
Wait,
away.
I thought of one more part that was just disgusting, and it grosses me out every time I see it.
What?
When Allison drinks her tears, I'm like, ugh. So gross.
Did you have to remind me?
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of disgusting, gross stuff in the movie, honestly, but that kind of took the cake, like ingesting that stuff, but I don't know. But yeah, so, I mean, I believe this is like an underdog story movie where, like, poor men can be rich in ways that wealthy men can't or lack, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, grass on the other side is probably fake grass, almost slapstick, grotesque-esque in a way. I made that up, but that's exactly how I would describe it if I had to create a genre of my own for the movie.
Yeah, it's just a great movie, and I had so much fun watching it, and I felt like I was reliving, childhood memories. But before
Definitely
we wrap it up, I just wanted to say a few things about some of the actors in the film since it's 30 years old, The woman who plays Hatchetface, unfortunately, so she passed away in 2016 from pneumonia. She's pretty young. She's only a year older than our mom. So she was, during the time of this film, 35 years old. But still sad. So rest in peace, Hatchetface. And then, have you ever heard of Patty Hearst?
Yeah, that is that Wanda's mom? No, that's...
Yeah, no, it's Wanda's mother, the airhead.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
She actually is the granddaughter of a magnate, William Randolph Hearst. So super, super rich family. And she was kidnapped when she was younger. And she ended up falling for her kidnappers and believing their ideas and helping them commit crimes. So she ended up going to prison for a couple years. And then later became, I guess, an actress. And John Hughes cast her in this movie. Like, what a life.
Of course he did. Wow, I never knew that. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. People can be so brainwashed, but she got out of it.
Yeah.
She was awesome in the movie.
Oh,
Amazing.
yeah. She was convincing. And then I know we've all recently heard about Johnny Depp's legal battle, but that's not the biggest news, I think, coming out of this cast. It actually has to do with Allison. The actress who portrayed her in the early 2000s retired from acting, and she got married, had 2 kids. In around 2012, I believe, she was driving drunk and killed someone else in a car accident. And when she went to court, she was sentenced to only like 2 years in prison and then some probation. And they kept taking her back to court because they were like, we don't understand why the judge sentenced you so leniently, because that's not even the minimum required by the law. So unfortunately, she had to...
Money talks.
Yeah, but not really, because she had to keep going back to court like 3 or 4 times until, like, I think 2019 it was finally closed out, where she had to serve 9 years in prison. So she had to go back after completing her probation successfully and 2 years in prison. Now she's back for 9 more years. So really, really sad. Don't drink and drive. It's awful. You destroy lives with it. And it's just, she destroyed her own life as well. So...
yeah, just don't drink. How about that?
Amen. But, yeah. Really sad.
Yeah, that's sad because I didn't know Allison would do such a thing.
I know, the way she is in the movie, and then you're like, wow, why would you do that? I don't know. It's so sad.
Well, it's just a movie. But another thing is Tracy Lord's interesting information. You know, everybody that grew up in our era knows that she was like a porn star, you know.
Yeah,
and,
that's how she started out.
I looked her up, and she faked her birth certificate, so she was actually
underage.
They were committing child pornography, and it says she officially retired from the porn industry 2 days after her 18th birthday. So that was like, my goodness, sick. People.
Right.
Jeez.
And then she went on to be Wanda and was so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah.
One of the best.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. We're so sorry for the delay, but we appreciate your patience. We look forward to having you join us next week. We'll be staying on our original schedule when I review a contemporary thriller romance.
Oh, way to change it up. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally not in my repertoire. I've never read a book like this, but I could not put it down. So trust me, this is going to be good.
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you again for joining us. And remember to like, follow, review, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform and on Instagram and Twitter at Ravish Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.